Have you ever looked at your life and thought, I thought I'd be further by now? So that I'd be married by now, I thought I'd have children by now, I thought I'd have been further in my career by now, I thought I'd be more financially stable by now. I thought I would have figured myself out by now. I thought I would be further. And sometimes it's not as though your life is bad, it's just that you thought it would look different. And that is a particular type of thing. Because how do you do something you never actually done? Hello and welcome to this Counsel. I am so glad you're here. Today I want us to talk about something that we don't usually recognize as grief. The grief of an unlived life. The future you imagined, the person you thought you become. The prayers you thought would have been answered by now. The doors you thought would have opened. Sometimes we don't give ourselves permission to grieve these things because technically we did not actually do anything. But emotionally something was lost. You lost an expectation, a possibility, a future that you had imagined, a picture of how you thought your life would be. And that loss can hurt. Psychology recognizes that some forms of grief aren't clearly acknowledged or socially understood. There may be no funeral, nobody sends you flowers. People may not even understand why you're struggling. So instead of telling them that you're grieving, you say things like, I'm frustrated, or I'm behind, or sometimes it is simply grief. And you need permission to acknowledge that. And here is where faith can become complicated. As Christians, we are taught to trust God, and we should. But trusting God doesn't mean you cannot be disappointed. It doesn't mean you can't cry. It doesn't mean you can't say, God, I don't understand why this is taking so long. You can love God deeply and still be disappointed about how your life is unfolding. You can have faith and still have questions. You can believe God is good and still grieve what you hoped He would do. Look at David in Psalms. He was distressed. He cried out. He asked for questions. And yet, he kept returning back. Faith is not the absence of difficult emotions. Sometimes faith is choosing to bring those difficult emotions to God instead of running away from Him.
So what do you do when you're looking at your life and you're thinking, I thought I'd be further by now? First, let yourself grieve honestly. You don't have to immediately say, well, at least. Who are you trying to convince? Yourself? Sometimes you simply need to acknowledge this is not what I hoped for. And that is not ingratitude. That is honesty. And honesty gives you something real that you can take before God in prayers. Second, stop measuring your life against someone else's timeline. Someone you went to school with got married. The one that got married at the same time with you has children. Someone you started your career together is now CEO. Someone is buying a house and you are still renting. And suddenly their progress is looking like an evidence of your failure. It is not. Their timeline is not God's verdict about your own life. Someone else's chapter 20 cannot and should not be used to measure your own chapter 10. You don't know their whole story. They don't know yours. Third, ask yourself, what are you actually grieving? When you say you're behind what exactly? What did you expect? Why does it matter to you? What does it represent? Maybe you're not grieving being unmarried. Maybe you're grieving companionship. Maybe you're not grieving a career milestone. Maybe you're grieving significance. There are a lot of other ways to gain significance outside of career. Understanding the deeper grief would help you care for the actual wound. Finally, bring the disappointment to God instead of abandoning Him. When life doesn't go according to plan, I know it's tempting to think God has forgotten you. But God's silence is not a proof of His absence. And delay is not automatically denial. You may not understand what God is doing. You may not even like where you are right now. But you can say sincerely to Him, Lord, I don't understand this, but I don't want my disappointment to make me lose you. I believe that you still have the best plans for my life. That is faith. And maybe now you're asking, what if I never get the life that I dreamed of? That's a difficult question. And the truth is, sometimes we don't. Some doors don't open. Some prayers aren't answered in the way that we wanted. Some dreams have to be surrendered. Part of spiritual maturity is learning that God is still God, even when our preferred outcomes don't happen. But that doesn't mean your life is over. It means you have to let go of the picture without letting go of the painter. So if you've been thinking, I thought I'd be further by now, take a deep breath. You are not a failure because your life looks different. You don't have to pretend that you're not disappointed. Bring your disappointment to God. Release the timeline that you cannot control and ask, how can I be faithful right here, right now? Do the next best thing you can do. If this has spoken to you, don't forget to share this video with someone. And if you're new to Sis Counsel, you're very much welcome. I am the CEO of Sis Counsel, and it's my pleasure to always bring you videos like this. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, share, and like. Until I come your way the next time, please take care of your heart.